All right, today we're going to be comparing types of data. And you have a graphic organizer, a double bubble map that you're going to use as I go through the lecture. The title, kids ask me all the time, what's the title of my paper? Well, look at what's on your paper. What is your graphic organizer showing you? And that should determine your title. The title for today, I've written it up here, is comparing types of data, because that's what we're going to be doing today, is comparing the two types, major types of data. So you may remember, go through and fill in, pause the video if you need to, or go back and watch it again, whatever works best for you. The two types of data are quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative, think of quantity, think of numbers, think of math. Qualitative, think of quality, the quality of something. It's more words, it's descriptive, it's like language arts. So starting with quantitative data, you first want to always think of quantitative data as being number or mathematical or measurement. Okay, so we're measuring something. When we measure something, we're typically using tools or equipment. It might be an electronic balance, it might be a ruler, a meter stick, a beaker, okay? So we're measuring things using tools. And I'm going to abbreviate equipment. Might be something like a beaker or a balance, or a ruler. Okay, this is mathematical. It's numbers. And the numbers typically have units. Like, what is the mass? It's the mass in kilograms. The distance to Grandma's house is 100 miles. It usually has a unit. Even if you're counting something, how many cats did I see in the yard? There's 10 cats. It's a number, and cats is your unit. It's what is you're measuring. So you always, next to every number, want to have that unit, because if you've just got a number, nobody knows what that means. It could be 10 cats, it could be 10 M&Ms, it could be 10 flowers, it could be 10 trees. So you always want to have your unit there. When you're doing quantitative data, there's lots of things we could be measuring, and we're going to be learning how to measure all of these things. We're going to be learning how to do density, distance, surface area. Some of these are called different things in math and in science, but they're the same. Volume, temperature, get them all, distance, surface area, and mass, which is like weight. We'll learn the difference between those things. So that is quantitative. Think numbers, think mathematical, think measurement. All right, moving over here to qualitative. Remember, we're thinking language arts. It's the quality of something, the essence of something. So with qualitative data, generally we're doing what we call an observation, or making observations. And when we make observations, we're not using tools and equipment so much. We're using the senses, the tools and equipment that we have on our body, our 5 senses. We're going to see, we're going to smell. Oops, we're going to smell. We're going to taste if it's safe. We're going to touch if it's safe. And we're going to hear. We want to use as many of those senses as we can. Okay, we tend to dominantly we tend to use our sense of sight, but we want to always take in as much information as we can using all 5 senses. So this is more words and phrases. It's descriptive. The flower was a golden yellow. The sun felt warm on our face. Okay, it's very descriptive. And the other thing that we can use with qualitative data that we can't use quite as much with quantitative is our prior experience. Okay, we all come to science with background knowledge, our prior experience. So when we see a cat, we know it's a cat. When we see a bear, we know it's a bear. So if we see a new animal and we recognize it as a bear, we can say this animal was a bear. We don't have to describe it as having, 4 legs and fur, and we can say it's a bear, and instantly other people know that have seen a bear before, a picture of a bear, know it's a bear. So qualitative observations, we use our 5 senses, all the ones that are safe to use, and it's very descriptive. We use words, and we can use our prior experience. Now let's look at how these types of data, this type of data collection is similar. Both of these types of data are important in science, and that's the first thing. They're used by scientists. Okay, stop that because I'm writing wrong. All right, now let's look at how these two are similar. The most obvious one probably is that they're important in science. They're both as important. One is important as the other in science. So they're used by scientists. They're also used by everybody else, but they're used in the field of science. They're informative, okay? They provide information for scientists about what they're studying. That's what data is. It's a fancy term for information about something, about a topic. My favorite similarity, because it reminds me of this, is that it does require patience and practice. Okay, you get better the more you do it, especially with qualitative data. Okay, you get much better with this the more you do it. You learn how to be more descriptive and use more comparisons based on your prior experience the more you do it. So patience and practice. The downfall with taking data is the data itself is only as good as the scientist who collected it. Okay, so it's only as reliable as the collector, okay, which is going to be you in a lot of cases. So if you use this piece of equipment inaccurately, or you just use very vague descriptions like, the car is red, rather than a more specific type of red, or what is a red light, then it's not going to be super reliable. So it's only as good as the person collecting that data. This data must be collected, with accuracy, okay? And then that goes back to the reliability. So it must be collected accurately and objectively. So that means that the bias of the scientist can't come in. It has to be objective. The scientist has to stay removed from the thing or the object or the animal or the organism or the planet that he or she is observing. And then finally, oftentimes this type of data is recorded in a variety of formats, okay? So data, and it always should be recorded, can be recorded using a journal. Things are changing quite a bit now because computer or tablets or iPads are used now to record. So the electronic recording is also used quite a bit now.